Hello guys, welcome back to Archive Ryzen. In this video, I like to talk about TESS PHANTASIA's weapon comparison, her potential as a main DPS, the advantages and disadvantages of her abilities, and manifestation priorities. If you are looking for details on her weapon mechanics, team composition, and logistic talent priority, I already talked about that in the previous video. Feel free to check it out. The weapon I'm gonna compare is Valiant Heart and Concord Chroma. For this DPS calculation, I'm using TESS PHANTASIA as manifestation 2. The weapons in this comparison are Tier 2 Valiant Heart, Tier 1 Valiant Heart, and Tier 5 Concord Chroma. The logistic talent has 21% attack percent talent and 222.6 alignment index talent. While for the main DPS I use is manifestation 2 Katia Rhapsody as the DPS comparison. If you are wondering whether I found any bugs while calculate TESS PHANTASIA's damage, yes I did. The first bug is Widya Celestial Swan's ultimate skill. I admit that I didn't check this part before because it is very clear statement, so I didn't question it. But it turns out this effect isn't what you are expecting. Therefore, from now on, if you want to use Widya's ultimate skill due to you want to trigger this effect, I suggest you to stop, because using her ultimate skill can cost you 0.5 seconds for casting the skill. But if you want to utilize the true damage from her ultimate skill instead, then sure, go ahead and use it. However, currently there is another bug in her ultimate skill. Here is Yao damage after using Widya's support skill alone, and here is her damage after using both Widya's ultimate skill and support skill. As you can see, Widya's ultimate skill doesn't just reduce the enemy's attack by 10%, it also has a bug that will reduce the main DPS damage by more than 10%. So for current condition, I suggest you to not use her ultimate skill until they fix it, because the damage loss is very large. As for TESS PHANTASIA's bug is this one. Before it was ballistic damage and now it became elemental damage, so yeah, they already fixed it. While the second bug is that TESS actually doesn't get this 35% attack percent increase. Here is Yao's shooting damage, while here is TESS aptitude damage and frostbite DOT, and here is the calculated value. As you can see, currently Yao's shooting damage is matched between the actual value and calculated value, while TESS aptitude damage and frostbite DOT do not match. However, if I were to remove the 35% attack percent from TESS PHANTASIA's stat, the calculated value will match the actual value with a variation of ±1%, which means other operative indeed get that 35%, but TESS PHANTASIA doesn't achieve that 35% attack percent increase. However, in my calculation, I already include this 35% because usually the bug will be fixed based on their description. Of course, I already reported this bug as soon as I posted this video, so you can still check whether the bug is true or not before they fix it. First of all, I like to talk about TESS PHANTASIA's potential as a main DPS in case you wanna play her on the field. So here is TESS solo DPS based on the combination of her shooting damage and aptitude damage from her standard skill Red Apple. Is that high? I'm not sure what to say, because she's a support operative, right? Fanny Starshine is also a support operative, but her solo sustain DPS with the same stat can only reach up to 30k when using her Tier 2 signature weapon. Meanwhile, TESS PHANTASIA, being able to reach above 40k can already be considered average as a main DPS, while able to reach above 60k is almost on par with top tier main DPS. So what do you think about that number? I wasn't sure either at first, so I tried to compare her with other frost sustain main DPS, which is Katia Bluebolt. My TESS PHANTASIA is at manifestation 0 and using a Tier 2 signature weapon, while my Katia Bluebolt is at manifestation 3 and also using a Tier 2 signature weapon. Both of them are frost sustain DPS and only use standard skill 1, so they are in equal condition when utilizing the buff from Supreme Battleground. Then here is the result. I hope that proved my point. She is indeed usable as a main DPS. But just keep in mind that she is a sustained DPS, which means she can nuke enemy with invulnerable phase, and her AoE damage, which is the golden apple, is kinda very difficult to utilize because it doesn't count as aptitude damage, so it can significantly decrease TESS shooting damage while consuming a lot of skill energy per use. To be honest, I prefer her AoE attack to be like Phoenix Starshine, which is more practical to use than this golden apple mechanic. In summary, her solo single target DPS is more powerful, while her AoE attack is not practical to use. Unless you are using her in Paradoxical Labyrinth and retrieve this buff, it can allow you to spam her golden apple without worrying about her skill energy availability. Additionally, if you use her as a main DPS, she cannot be paired with Phoenix Starshine due to her aptitude bullets conflict with Phoenix Starshine special magazine. Furthermore, if you want to pair her with Vidya Celestial Swan, make sure the other super operative follows the mono element rule as I explained in this video. As for her weapon comparison, here is Katia Rhapsody plus TESS PHANTASIA's DPS over approximately 30 seconds, which means there is one time TESS PHANTASIA's support skill enters cooldown due to only using the free-to-play weapon. Compared to the free-to-play weapon, her tier 1 signature weapon can boost Katia's DPS by 18%, while the tier 2 signature weapon can provide 31% boost to Katia's DPS. But once again, this is the comparison for approximately 30 seconds. This gap will increase as the battle goes on, because the longer the battle, the more TESS PHANTASIA's skill will enter cooldown and the more downtime there will be when using her free-to-play weapon. So what is my opinion about this percentage? For super operative, above 20% usually is recommended to pulse, but this is likely below, so maybe yes. Since nowadays battle tend to last longer than expected. Additionally, having a tier 1 signature weapon can make her support skill become a permanent duration. It's also very useful for a long-term battle gameplay like Supreme Battleground or Battlefield Sigma. Now the question is TESS PHANTASIA worth investing in operative? Under current condition, we might think that she is highly reliant on Katia Rhapsody due to Katia has the highest fire rate, which highly synergizes with TESS aptitude bullets. Well, that is almost true, but you can also pair her with other fast fire rate operative as long as there is no Phoenix Starshine in the team. Furthermore, if we were to get more fast fire rate ballistic main DPS or shotgun users who aren't reliant on Phoenix Starshine in the future, she might become very useful. Because, to explain it in a simple way, TESS PHANTASIA as a powerful sub DPS has a very good advantages. Because unlike the typical team composition where two super operative provide a lot of buff focused on the main DPS, which often result in a huge diminishing return and reduce their buff effectiveness, TESS aptitude effect can offer additional damage without intensifying those diminishing return. Moreover, the additional damage she provides will become even stronger if there is a debuffer or a full squad buffer support on the team. Her support skill can almost last forever as long as she can constantly deal aptitude damage through the main DPS, which make her very easy to use and can increase your main DPS damage for a permanent duration. Lastly, she is very cute, that's it. While for the downside of TESS ability is that she is quite reliant on her signature weapon due to her free-to-play weapon is being unsuitable for long-term battle. So the conclusion is, her tier 2 signature weapon is 31.4% stronger compared to the free-to-play weapon, while her tier 1 signature weapon is 18% stronger compared to the free-to-play weapon. This gap can keep increasing the longer the battle lasts. Therefore, I conclude that TESS needs at least tier 1 signature weapon due to it can completely change her support skill duration into an unlimited duration. As for TESS manifestation, her manifestation looks very great, but I will only recommend investing up to manifestation 3 because her manifestation 2 can offer a 10% DPS boost, her manifestation 3 offer a 9% DPS boost, while her Manifestation 4 can only offer a 6% DPS boost, so it is not really worth it compared to her Manifestation 2 and 3. Alright, I think that's all from me. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Cheers.